Okay, so for this Queen Anne neckline, I'm going to be working with this Ankara fabric, and then I'm going to use a tulle net to design it. So now we're going to draft the pattern first. So the pattern for this, we are not going to have a separate yoke. We're going to cut the neckline, the upper part together with the lower part. I don't know if you understand what I mean. So I have made my markings. This is my armhole line, this is my bust point, my under bust, and my waistline. So the first thing I'm going to do is to mark my bust span measurement. For me, that's 8 divided by 2, which is 4. So I'll mark that on my bust point, the waistline, and the under bust, and then I'll make it into a straight line. So after that, I'm going to take my dart on the under bust and the waistline. So I'm taking 1 inch on both sides, that's 2 inches, and I'll make that into a straight line as well. Then I'll use my curved ruler to connect it to my bust point. I'm sure you're familiar with this process already. So here I'll take my curved ruler and then lift like a half an inch, just for it to blend properly, just like that. You don't want it to be sharp at any point. So here I have connected that. So the next thing now is to choose. A Queen Anne neckline is like a sweetheart neckline kind of, before you connect the upper part to it. So I'm going to decide on my total neck depth. So I'll mark that from the starting point. So I think I'm going to work with around 7 to 8 inches is fine for me. So after taking that mark, I'm going to go over to my armhole area and then mark 4.5, between 4 to 5 inches downwards like this. I think I'm doing 4.75, and then I'm going to take my curved ruler and then connect for my neckline. Okay, so after connecting it, I'm going to get the midpoint of my shoulder, and then I'll connect that to my bust point so that I can take my dart there. So for the dart, I'm going to take a dart of 1.5 inches. I'll share this between the two sides, so I'll do 0.75 here and 0.75 here. Then I'm going to connect that to my bust point as well on both sides. So now this pattern already have a shortage of 1.5 inches, so I'm going to extend this line here so that I can add that extra 1.5 inches to it. Then it means I'm going to redraw my armhole. Okay, so now, like I said, the Queen Anne neckline, I don't want to cut it as a yoke, I want to cut it together. But the dart that we already taken here is going to affect that if I want to cut it together. So what I'm going to do, the 1.5 inches that I took out here, I'm going to extend my shoulder by that 1.5 inches. So you can see this is where my shoulder actually stops. So here I'm going to mark 1.5 inches extension for my shoulder, and then from there I'm going to come down by 1 inch for the shoulder slope here, and then I'll redraw my armhole, making sure that the important points meet. Okay, so once they meet like this, I'm going to go ahead and redraw my armhole. You can see that I did not add any extra allowance on this arm because I did not, my dart is not really affecting it. Okay, the part that it is affected, because of the way we have shaped it, you can see that they have automatically added with them like that. Okay, so now to draw out my new shoulder slant, so this 1.5 inches that I have added here, I'm going to remove it from the neckline area. I hope you understand it. Now my shoulder is supposed to be around 5 inches, so now it is 7.5, so it's 1.5 inches more. That's 1.5 inches that I added here. So here from where my neck point stop, I'm going to mark 1.5 inches there, and this is going to be my new neck point. Okay, so now from there I'm going to connect to this part to form my new shoulder slant, which is going to be the 5 inches that I need. I hope you understand that. So this no longer works Okay, the first shoulder slant that we have no longer works, so the new shoulder slant starts from here. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to connect from here to wherever it is you want your Queen Anne's neckline to be. So on this neckline area, you can mark between 3 to 4 inches thereabouts, but I'm just going to connect it to my dart point here for me, or you can do like half an inch away from your dart leg to make it easier for you to join. So from there, you can see I'm placing my ruler from that point to my new neck point. You can see, so this is the Queen Anne's neckline that I am going to have. And you can see that it is cut together. It's going to be cut together with the side front. Okay, so now I'm going to measure my waist measurement. The waist is 8.5, that's 34 divided by 4. So here 3 inches, and then I'm going to complete the 8.5 here so that I don't have any shortage. So after that, you add your seam allowance to it, whatever seam allowance that you want to work with, you add it, and then you connect everything together. So for me, I'm working with a bust dart as well, because I have a 2 inches difference from my athletic front and back. So here on the bust points, I'm going to come down by 2 inches, and then I'm going to connect that to my bust points. Okay, so this is my bust dart. So that is it for the front. So for the back, it's different. It's a regular bodice. You can see I have drawn it out. So now it is left to you to decide the type of neckline that you want. I think I want a keyhole at the back as well, and I'm going to be cutting it together just like I did for the front. So now from my neckline here to my dart area, I'm just going to place a curved ruler like this, and then create the keyhole. You can be on your dart area, or you can just come in by half an inch as well. That's what you want. I think I'm going to place it on my dart area here, and then I'm going to connect. Okay, so this is the back pattern that I have chosen. So I'll go ahead now and cut it out. So I have cut it out. You can see this is the center front, this is the side front, and you can see the Queen Anne's neckline there. So I got a question about bust dart from someone. You don't cut out the bust dart on your fabric, you close it just like this on your pattern before you connect it to your fabric. So you cut with your masking tape. I couldn't access my masking tape, that's why I'm just using this glue for now. So what you just do is to close this bust dart before you transfer to your fabric. You're not supposed to cut this out on your fabric. I hope this answers your question. I hope the person sees this. So this is what the pattern is going to look like, and this is for the back. You can see the keyhole that I have at the back as well, and like I said, I'm going to be cutting it together too. I don't want it to be as a yoke. So these are my patterns. I'll go ahead and cut them out on my fabric. So for the skirt, this is going to be my starting point. I'm going to place my waistline measurement on that, and then I want the skirt to be around 36 inches long. Okay, I don't want it too long because it's not going to have a slit, so that I can move freely in it. So my net is going to cover up my length because I want it to be around 42 inches. So if the skirt is around 36, 37, then so that is what I have measured here. So here is my hip line, which is 26 inches. I left extra allowances because I want to turn it in with lining. So my lining is going to be shorter a bit by 1 inch or so. So now on my waistline, I'm going to take my waist measurement. Remember, the waist is 8.5 inches, and then I'm going to add 1 inch for that, and then I'll add extra inches for my seam allowance. Then here I'm going to take my hip measurement. The hip is 44, so here 44 divided by 4 is 11, and then I'm going to add my seam allowance to that as well. So from my waist to my hip, I'm going to connect with my curved roller just like this. So for the hem, depending on what you want, if you want it to be just straight down, you work with your hip measurement, but I want it a little bit pencil. So here I'm going to deduct like 1 inch from my waist, from my hip. Sorry, the hip is actually 11. So if I deduct 1 inch, that's going to be 10 inches. That's why I'm marking 10 inches here. I hope you can see it. So I'll mark the 10 inches. You can deduct 1.5 too, but I don't want it too tight at the same time, so I'll add my allowance to that as well. And then I'm going to connect with my curved ruler. So make sure that your connection is nice. So now that everything is sorted, I'll go ahead and cut this out. So I've cut it out, so I'll go ahead and cut lining for the bodice and also the skirt as well. So I've cut lining for them. Now this is the back, and then I added relevant allowances. This is the back, this is the front, and this is the center front as well with the lining. And then these are my skirts with their lining as well. So I have gone ahead to cut wording for the front. So I'll fuse my wording to it now, and then we'll start to sew. I have added the gobstay to it, the wording, sorry. So now I'm going to start to sew it. I'm going to join the side, okay, to the center. I'll do this for both the lining and the main fabric, and then for the back I'm going to go ahead and hold my dart. So I'll do this separately because I want to use the lining to turn the main fabric. So after joining the upper part, I'm just going to take the dart on the skirt as well, and then join the skirt to the upper part. I'll do the same thing for the lining, then bring it back to show us how to turn it. So I have gone ahead to join them together and fix my lining to it. Like I said, we have been doing this severally on the channel. I don't want this video to be too long. So you join your front, join the lining and the main fabric separately so that I can use them to turn each other neatly like this. So this is the front and this is the back. So for the back, I have also fixed my zipper to it. I don't want to use a sleeve on this, so I'm just going to tie like a rope. So I just cut out this rope while I was joining so that I can neatly join it to the armhole area. So this is the armhole, and then I have inserted the rope in between the two armholes. So I have it on each side, so you need 4 rope for this if this is what you want to use. But you can also fix a zipper to this, so I can easily tie it to my arm like this. So that is what is going to serve as my sleeve. So I have joined the front and back together on the shoulder, as you have seen. So you want it to be as neat as possible. For me, everything is neatly turned out now. So the next thing now is to draw out the line that the veil net is going to go through. So it's very simple. It's going to start from your waist. This is my waist joining here. So you can embed the edges of the lace inside your seam allowance. So to do that, you just mark your actual measurement. So I've marked out my actual measurement here, and I have just make this faintly. So this is my waistline. So you just remove the seam allowance that you added, okay? So I marked this to the hem on both sides. After that, you're now going to determine the total length of your dress. For me, like I said, I want the dress to be around 42 inches. So I just place my tape on my half length here, and then I will mark out 42 inches. So 42 inches stops around here. So the net that I want to work with, I'm going to cut the net to be 10 inches. So I'll cut 10 inches upwards like this. 1, 2, 3. So you will, after marking your 42 inches, using your waist as your guideline, so this is 42 inches, I'm going to cut 10 inches upwards. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this is 10. I just started to mark it at 33 because I may trim the net on the hem. I want the one on the waist to be longer than that of the hem. That's why I just came down a little bit so that it's not going to be too short. So after noting those points, depending on how you want the curve to go, for me, I'm just going to connect from my waistline and then connect it to that center point, and then I'll do the same thing for the other side like this. So it's just going to go like that. This is totally up to you. I hope you can see what I'm doing. So I'll do the same thing for the back as well. I'll just mark where I want the hem, from the hem where I want it to start for the hem, and then I'll shape my dress. So after that I'm going to connect it same way like this. So this is my nest. I've neatly arranged this, and like I said, I want it to have to be 10 inches long. You can see that I've marked out those points. So now I will grab my scissors and then I'll start cutting it out. So the nest that I have here is, I think, 7 yards in total. So I just folded it to this small size so that I can easily cut it out. So hopefully this will be enough for me. If it's not enough, then you need to get more depending on how full you want it to be. So I'm just cutting it out, and then you can join it at the edges, and then we'll start to gather it. So you can gather separately or you gather as you sew. It's totally up to you, but each of them is about 7 yards. So now I think I cut it into 6, so 7 yards in 6 places. I'll see what that will give me. So I'll go ahead and gather all of this around this dress. So you just gather. You can see me, I'm gathering as I sew. So I'm gathering, I'll gather it and then I'm going to sew. So with my hand again, I'll gather it following the line. You can see the line that's marked there. That is what I'm following, and then I'm going to gather it till I exhausted. You can see the ones that I have done, and it followed the same line. So that is how I'll keep gathering it. So I have sewn it round now, you can see. So I have successfully sewn it all round just the way I want it to be. This is the back and this is the front. I did not exhaust my, I think I have 1 line left out of the 6 lines that I cut out. So this is what it looks like. So the last thing to do is to just fold them over like this, and then I'm going to tuck in the gathers and just work on the side seam allowance. So you're going to match them together. This line, seam line that I have here, can be a guide, but just make sure that you're not taking your net with it. You can pin it down first. So after doing this now, I'll go ahead and sew it on both sides, and then I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so this is what the dress looks like. You can see how beautiful it is and how simple it is to make. I hope you enjoyed making this beautiful dress with me. If you enjoyed it, kindly comment, let us know, like, share with your friends so that they can also benefit from this tutorial. And if you are not following us on Instagram, we're on Instagram at Library Threads and Library Luxury. Please, we are trying to grow the page, and it will mean a lot if you can give us your follow, if you can like and engage on our post. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.